Hi, crime junkies, and welcome back to the podcast. My name's Caira.
And I'm Britt.
Just kidding, everybody, but if you don't listen to Crime Junkie, you probably should. I love murder. Anyways, today's episode's not about murder, but wouldn't that be something?
Oh, wow. That would be a horror story, wouldn't
I'm
it?
sure would.
Maybe we'll get one of those one day.
Today's video is all about Chicago apartment horror stories. I went over to my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you should. But I asked you guys, what are some of your worst Chicago apartment horror stories? And can I please share them on my channel? To which I got yeses and some really good stories to share. So I'm very excited. I have 3 stories I'm going to share today. I'm going to be telling them to Alex, who has not heard these stories yet. And we'll see what you think. I posted one of these videos a while back. If you haven't seen it already, go check out my previous Chicago apartment horror stories. That one gave me nightmares. Like legit, I had a single nightmare. One night. But, ugh.
Maggots.
Ugh, don't tell them. Oh, that one got me. But here we are for a whole new round. We're starting off this video with a style of storytelling that I have not done previously. This person sent in voice memos of them explaining their story. I haven't even listened to these, but I thought it'd be really fun to listen to them together on camera.
It was about month 3 into looking for apartments in Chicago, and I'm new to the area, so I really didn't know much about like where to look, but I was dead set on moving to Pilsen, and I did, so that's cool. We met this person who had an amazing like loft style apartment in Pilsen, so we went to go see it, and it wasn't giving what the pictures gave. So we realized immediately, that me and my roommate, that it wasn't going to be a good fit. And then he promised us, he was like, hey, I have an apartment that I think that you'd like. I know you don't like this one, but I have something else that you might be interested in. Like, okay, we'll go. You know, the first apartment you showed us, it was cute, but it didn't have exactly what we wanted. Plus it had like the loft had like a 6 or 8 foot like ladder to get to one of the bedrooms. And it was so steep, like it was terrifying to go down. And we were like, okay, that was just a drawback. That's fine. Let's get into this. Let's go check out the next place. So he takes us a couple blocks down to this kind of like enclosed, kind of creepy looking alley area. And we're like,
I'm gonna pause it right there. Hold the front door. If it's this girl and her female roommate and they're off with this leasing agent on their own, and he's just like, yeah, let me show you something. It's a creepy looking alley. No, phone a friend. Like, I don't know.
Well,
no.
I mean, like,
I'm getting bad vibes. There's nothing wrong with telling someone like, I want to come back another time, or just kind of like gauge it out. But this is giving me no good vibes.
and we're like, oh God, what's happening? What is going on? And he's like, I've got the place for you guys.
Ooh.
So geography wise, it was right under the L. Like literally the apartment was under the train. So I was like, this is going to be the most noisy experience of my life. Okay, fine. He's like, this apartment is 4 bedroom, 20,000 bath, and it's only 1,500. And I was like, no, like duh, of course it's like so cheap. It's the scariest thing I've ever seen. He came there with a dog. The dog, it was like a tiny chihuahua. The dog was terrified to go into the apartment. It had like dents in the wall and scratches, and there was no electricity, and it was a basement unit, but it wasn't just a basement unit. It was like a sub-basement unit, so you had to go down a couple steps to get into like the ground. He was like, yeah, I had a couple friends living here, a band, and so they kind of messed up the place, but I could fix this for you guys, right? I could do this. And we were just like, we were just shook. We were shocked. If I could find the listing.
This wasn't a broker. This was some dude who just had an apartment listed. They showed up.
Oh my God, you must be right.
And he's like, oh, how about this one? And he just went over to like his basement in his other building.
Yeah, this is a landlord.
Yeah.
Who
just
owns these spots. And he's like, this place was abandoned, but I can get it fixed up for you.
Oh my God. 4 bedroom, 20,000 bath, 1,500.
Use a leasing agent. Use a leasing agent who like can vet these things out for you.
Listing, if you saw the place, you would cry. It was nothing like. We bonded with the guy, the landlord, because he said that he had like daughters, and he was like, yeah, this is a place I'd let my daughter live. And when he was talking about the second place, and no, not even worth it. There was like 2 windows in the apartment, like the window in the front living room when you were going up the stairs, and like a bathroom window. It was the creepiest apartment I've ever seen in my life, and I just vowed, to be more careful when it comes to looking at places, because who knows? Not to say that the guy was shady, but it could have gone wrong. It gave like murder vibes.
This is crime junkie.
I know. That one, like, that gives off my crime junkie feels of like, no, this is bad. Don't do this. Don't follow dudes into creepy
Dungeons.
With scratches on the walls and dents.
Yeah, scratches on the walls and no electricity.
If the Chihuahua says no, you say no.
He sensed the evil things that had happened there.
Chihuahuas got great gut intuitions. Mm-hmm. Listen to the Chihuahuas.
That was a good one.
Ooh. It was also just interesting to hear it spoken.
Yeah, we should get more of those.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Next up, I'm going to go with this one first. This one's written out quite well. I'm excited for it. In 2011, a couple bought a converted 2-flat. It was once a single family home on the northwest side of Chicago, just south of Old Irving Park. They were friends and they asked my roommate at the time and if I wanted to move into the second floor apartment. The apartment was very misshapen, which was not atypical of many Chicago apartments. The living room / dining room was an odd Tetris block shape. The electricity in the kitchen wasn't working, so we had to run an extension cord from the dining room to power the appliances. That's a fire hazard. Do not plug your stove into an extension cord. The walls were old plaster, which we couldn't drill holes into to hang stuff for fear that the wall would crumble. The windows were old and leaky, and the faucets and showers only worked as long as the landlord didn't use their water at all. This was the first building they've bought, and they definitely got more than they bargained for. Money was tight for them, so the worst thing to happen was that their furnace died. But only in our apartment, not theirs.
Oh no.
They got a furnace guy who said the whole thing needed to be replaced and it was going to be a hefty cost. They couldn't afford it, and at the time, neither could my roommate or I. Also, it shouldn't be on you.
No.
In Chicago, there's like so many laws about like you have to like provide heat to your tenants. Like, it's cold here.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay, so for 2 months, I had to live in a cold apartment. We got space heaters. I bought the safer oil-based radiator kind, and my roommate got a hand-me-down electric one that looked like it could easily burn the entire house down.
Oh no.
I remember in the living areas, we had to wheel the space heater back and forth to my bedroom until I just gave up on the living areas altogether and just spent all of my time in my smaller bedroom wearing layers and hiding under my sheets when I was at home. I'd go to work early, leave late just to be in a warm space.
Oh my god.
This is sad.
That is sad. Does he say how much he was paying?
No, he doesn't. The only way I could shower was to run the hot water for nearly 20 minutes so the bathroom would heat up and leave the water running while I dry off after showering. If you remember my mentioning the water only worked if the downstairs did not run their water, well, they did, and the bathroom would get cold quickly with no hot water being pumped out of the shower and me being soaking wet. 2 short months later, they were able to apply for a loan to cover the cost of the replacement furnace. Sad part is, I lived in that apartment for 9 years. My current place is a huge upgrade. Appliance issues notwithstanding, I had the worst experience at the other place. And what really gets me is this is one of my followers who I've like chatted with a lot. He messaged me and said he had a horror story, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be your horror story about your oven breaking. And he was like, no, it's worse. For context, this guy has had it so that way his oven broke, his stove still worked above, but the oven didn't work in his apartment for 8 months. I cannot handle. And again, his landlord was his friend, so he didn't get it fixed. And he was like, also, there was one time I was without a fridge for a week, but it was winter, so I just put everything on my balcony and cooked all my meats. And
At least he has a balcony.
Yeah. But I was like, how does this keep happening? He was like, oh, and that time that it happened, even though it was in the middle of winter, it was a 70-degree day in January. I was like, you'll have the worst luck. I use him as an example all the time with clients of being like, landlords can be a super hit or miss, but I know somebody whose oven didn't work for 8 months. So you never know what you're gonna get.
You never know. That's crazy.
That's sad.
Yeah. Of the 2 stories, one was a horror story, but at least they just like showed up, said nope, and they're out. And then there was just a funny story from that point. Nothing bad happened. He lived in that apartment for 9 years.
That's really bad. Last one, and I'm really excited for this one. I haven't read this whole story, but when I got like the snippet of it, I was like, that's a good story. Oh, and we got pictures. I love pictures. In 2018, my college friend and I moved to Chicago for grad school from California. We couldn't make a trip out to tour apartments, so we based a unit based on a FaceTime tour and an online listing. Fast forward to moving day, when we land in Chicago, get to the building, and the unit looked nothing like it did in the walkthrough. Uh-oh. We were shown a unit on the 3rd floor and promised every unit looked the same, but were given a unit on the 1st floor with entirely different floor plan and features. To our surprise, it was a split level. Kitchen, living room, bedroom on the ground floor, bathroom, 2nd bedroom, up a flight of 6 stairs. Right then, we thought about staying in a hotel and finding a new place, but time, money, etc. were tight. While everything was dated and not what we would have picked for ourselves, it didn't look too bad, so we moved in. From that point on, Everything that could possibly go wrong did. We later learned the unit was a converted storage area, which explained the strange layout and most of our issues. It had low exposed ceilings and shared walls with service areas such as trash chutes and electrical closets that resulted in a constant presence of rats and cockroaches that came through the walls, up through the drains, and fell from the open ceilings.
From all directions.
Poof, poof, poof. We became so desensitized to finding bugs and mice running across the floors, on the furniture, in our drawers, everywhere. Bugs are foul, can't handle them, but mice, I really can't do. I can't do rodents. Rodents freak me out.
I can do it.
No, you can't. I'm the one who catches bugs when they fall into our apartment. Once we even came home to find a rat drowning in our toilet. The exterminators came every week, so frequently they knew us by name, and could never get rid of the infestation. Other than the creatures, the structural integrity of this unit was not up to code. The bedroom and bathroom upstairs had no windows or means to escape if fire blocked the stairs and the front door. That is fully illegal. Like, fully illegal.
Really?
Yeah, that's so scary. The bathroom and kitchen didn't have proper ventilation, and when we asked for a fan for the bathroom to be replaced, they were told a fan didn't exist, leaving us to open the vent and replace the fan ourselves because it definitely did exist.
Oh my God.
We had a gap in our living room wall where the AC unit that didn't work had been poorly installed, so rain and snow would get in and wet the floors. And the window frame was so old and rotted that during a storm on Thanksgiving Day, the entire living room window just fell out from the wind. We had to physically hold the window in the wall for 2 hours until after hours maintenance crew could come out and repair it. And all they did was put screws in the wall to hold the window, leaving it poorly aligned and drafty in winter and unable to be opened in summer.
Oh my God.
In fall, a water pipe burst in the ceiling and rained brown water all over our beds, desks, carpeted bedroom floors.
Brown water? Why is it brown?
I kept thinking this was like so bad and it just keeps getting worse. They refused to replace the carpet and just painted over the water stains in the ceilings, not sealing the cracks or checking for lasting effects like mold. That's disgusting.
Eesh.
This is our worst one yet, I think. Through everything, we went toe-to-toe with the maintenance team. We were in the management office almost every other day complaining about the condition of the unit, requesting compensation, and standing up for our rights as rent-paying residents. You go, girl! At first, they didn't believe us about the roaches, mice, and even the smaller problems like the bathroom fan or missing light bulbs in the kitchen. Often, they assumed that we were just young and female and from California, and we just didn't know what we were talking about when it came to unit maintenance, or were exaggerating the issues. As winter approached, we received communication that the building's radiators had been activated, though we couldn't feel heat in our apartment. The first night that the temperatures inside the unit dropped below 50 degrees, I called the after-hour maintenance team to report the broken radiator. I was met with jaded comments suggesting that we didn't know how to turn on the system since we grew up in a warm climate, saying that we just couldn't expect beach weather because we weren't on the West Coast anymore. This is so bad. After debating with the representative and insisting on a visit, someone finally came to check the radiator at 10 p.m. When he walked in and felt how cold it was and saw that we had turned the radiator on properly, he was shocked. He had come without tools because he thought it wouldn't be a real problem, so we still had to wait until the next morning for heat. They discovered that because the unit was a converted space, it was on a different radiator line that hadn't been included when the building's heat was turned on. Needless to say, we were very uncomfortable and offended. 9 months into the lease, we requested an early termination with no penalty and left the day after I graduated with my master's degree. I can't believe they did 9 months of this. We filed complaints with the city. Freaking yes, sister. I am so proud of you. And with the management company, and left horrible reviews on the apartment websites that featured this building. In hindsight, I have no idea how we survived living there, especially during a rigorous graduate program. It tapped into a resiliency that I didn't know I had.
Jeez.
It was miserable to constantly feel disgusted and unsafe in your own home, and to always have your experiences and observations doubted. We developed a thick skin to both insults and unsavory conditions, learned a lot about renters' rights, insurance, and lease violation laws, and gained a valuable lesson on personal advocacy. The next apartment we lived in was incredible by comparison. Now, 4 years later, we can finally look back and laugh on our unbelievable experience in the worst apartment in Chicago. That one takes the freaking cake for me. All right, that is the end of our Chicago apartment horror stories video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I have fun making these.
Yeah, let's make more. Send more. Tell them
Send
to
more. Honestly, at this point, even if they're not Chicago, like just send us some apartment horror stories. If you have your own, feel free to email me. My email is included in the description box. I hope you liked this video. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below with any comments. Tell us what you thought about it. Follow me over on Instagram also. I post lots of content over there, and I also ask for submissions for different types of videos for stuff like this. So I would love for you to be able to have your input as well. And And as always, hit that big red subscribe button. I post a video every 3 days, and I would love for you to follow along. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.